Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. You'd be a liar to say, oh, I didn't see this one coming. I saw it coming. My dog Pearl saw it coming, and she doesn't even like sports. But you know what? I'll be your Huckleberry. Come on, let's play a game called Yeah, I'm Stupid. When it's said and done, come on people, it's all about the Benjamins, baby. It's all about the Benjamins, baby. That's what it's about. This is about a payday. Does Mike Tyson need the money? I doubt it. Jake clearly doesn't. So the question still remains, why? Anyway, I was having a conversation about this fight the other morning. The conversation is what really motivated me to say, hey, podcast, I wanted to be like everybody else in the YouTube know-it-all community. So here's my take. So I was hanging out with Tom, early in the morning. Tom is a co-worker, and he comes in early like I do, around 6 or so. And we chit-chat about this and that, but this particular morning, we're talking about the fight. Now, Tom is an older guy. I'm an older guy, but he's about 7 or 8 years older than me. So to me, he's an older guy. I said, Tom, I'm going to make you famous. I said, check this out. Tom is this guy, right? He's from New York, and people like me from the South, he speaks like how we feel all New Yorkers would speak. But he says to me, there's a fight coming up. I'm like, yeah. Who do you think is going to win? Mike Tyson or Jake Paul? Now I sat back and I gave him this look. And right then and there, he knew, just by the grin on my face, who I was going to pick. Spoiler alert, it ain't Mike Tyson. I said Jake Paul. Tom nearly fell out of his chair laughing. Later on that afternoon, I was talking to my friend Chris, and I asked him the exact same question that was asked to me. He kind of looked at me before he even answered as if I insulted his intelligence. He replied, Mike Tyson, of course. As anyone on the square knows, all good threes come in 3. So I saw my man Rashawn. Of course, I asked him the same question. He frowned his face up and looked at me like really he made it look like something smells, but I knew it was. He's like, come on, bro. Mike Tyson. So here we go. The odds were against me, 3-1. Now here's the problem with everyone on Team Tyson. You're delusional if you think the 57/58-year-old Tyson is going to be the same Mike Tyson of old. He's not. Yes, if he catches Jake with one of those nasty shots, it's night-night, baby. But Jake ain't that stupid. At least, I hope he isn't. Now, I'm not going to even act like I'm an expert because I'm not, and I never claimed to be. I'm just a retired fighter who turned into a coach. And for the last 8 or so years, I've been training MMA fighters, and I've been studying the fight science. I have a pretty good perspective on what could or possibly may happen. When I corner my fighters, my one skill or my one job is to watch the other opponent. And I tell my fighter maybe, more particularly what they might be thinking by just how they're reacting. This tends to give my fighter an advantage. If their opponent reacts opposite, that means I got it. But by then, it's too late. And they're going to revert back to their own style. We already know what they're going to do because we've adapted to it and we already got the dub. We're just walking out the cage. Not only have I been studying Tyson's style, I've been training my taller fighters to beat his style, which was my style when I was boxing. I was a brawler, so I understand the knock you the F out mentality. Now, neither one of these guys are undefeated. And there really isn't going to be a clear winner. Old man out of the game forever versus a young man who hasn't really beat anyone relevant in boxing? But do you know who is undefeated? Father Time. And I hate that fact. I hate to admit to this because I've always been the proprietor that us old guys can do whatever we want to do. The mind is willing, but the body, not so much. Now, everyone is all impressed by Tyson's bad work and that they're not really paying attention to everything else. But guess who is paying attention? That's right, this guy. Mike's ferocity while hitting the heavy bag, his speed and this aggressiveness while attacking the mitts. Yeah, it's scary. But Bruce Lee, my man Bruce Lee said it the best. He goes, boards don't hit back. I'm gonna let that sink in on you because some of y'all, I ain't gonna get it. Let me say it again. Boards don't hit back. So with that being said, I'm gonna give you the 5 things Jake Paul needs to do to beat Mike Tyson. But before I do, I just can't give it to you. But before I do, and I guess you can say this is how I kind of quantify potentially what Mike is thinking about, I'm going to tell you what finally put me into permanent retirement. It was about 6 or 7 years ago, and I was kind of getting an itch to get back in the cage. I mean, I was doing jiu-jitsu, and I was smashing dudes, literally. Now, thinking about it, I was smashing dudes my age. Go figure. And I figured, you know what? My skills are still nasty. I was hitting the bag like Tyson. People were legitimately afraid of me and didn't really want to spar me. My taekwondo game was good. My jiu-jitsu was good, and my hands were still nasty. I said, why not? So I was talking to one of my friends, and he says, hey, every Thursday night, I go to the UFC gym and we spar. He said, you should come through. I said, of course, no problem. So at the time, I'm going to go ahead and give the UFC gym in San Antonio a shout out, because that's where we were on 281. I pulled up to the gym, and my man's cousin was just finishing up the MMA class. The students that wanted to stay and spar, they were getting ready. They were getting their hands wrapped. They were putting their shin pads on and doing just some basic warming up. I was warming up. I was stretching, and as I was stretching, I was kind of surveying the group to see who was out there. And I'm not going to lie, I was extremely confident, borderline arrogant, if I must say. So I get my first guy. He's a smaller guy, skinny, quick. But you know what? Piece in my beezy, no sweat. Then I sparred with my friend. He was a bigger guy. He was taller than me. You know, he threw hard punches. Put it this way, if they landed, it would have hurt. But I made easy work of that one, moved to the next one. Then I got to his cousin, who was actually the instructor of the class. Now, his cousin, David, I kind of underestimated him. He was a smaller guy than me, just a little bit taller, so he had the reach. So once again, you know, I had my Tyson mentality. Now, there was one bad habit that one of my friends back in the day said, you'd like to drop your left. Be careful. Now, I'm a southpaw. Dropping the left, detrimental. Well, obviously, Cuzzo was familiar with fighting southpaws because he did a feint. I reacted. Next thing you know, head kick. The bells were ringing. The stars were shining, but wasn't nobody home. You feel me? I got smooth knocked out. Granted, I did hit the ground, so I got my dignity. My dignity was still intact, but the brother was on spaghetti legs. I was walking like I was drunk. Shit. I did recover quickly, but if it was a fight, he would have finished me. And the ref would have been like waving his hand, and I'd been looking stupid. I got a safe face, so I finished a couple more rounds, but I was a little bit more respectful, very much more humble. Needless to say, my reaction wasn't where I thought it should be, and this was just sparring. See, that was God. That was all God. God saying, you go over there and sit down, and what little wisdom you have left in your head, teach. So, if you're in the Rochester, New York area, and you want to learn how to fight MMA style, look a brother up. Yeah, I know. What a time for shameless promotion. Okay, now let's get to these 5 things that Jake Paul must do to beat Mike Tyson. Number 5, gotta find your range. Although Jake Paul is 6'1" to Mike Tyson's 5'10", there still is an advantage. Fight long, fight tall. Number 4, don't blow your wad trying to knock him out. You will only make a mistake, miss, and possibly make him mad. Tyson is still an excellent counterpuncher. If Jake overshoots a hook or a cross, he's going to get caught with an uppercut, and he can kiss the baby, because it's night-night. Number 3, draw Mike into the later rounds, that deeper water, so to speak. In rounds 4 and 5, if he makes it that far, you can start attacking Tyson. Now it's time to let your youth and endurance take over. More than likely, Mike is going to try to end the fight fast to preserve his legacy. So I expect him to be tired by round 3. Number 2, as tempting as it may be, don't test your chin by brawling. If you do, this is my prediction, and Clubber Lang, aka Mr. T, said it best about Rocky. Prediction? Pain. But it won't be much pain, not for long, because your ass is going to sleep. And number 1, the number 1 thing that Jake Paul must do to survive and beat Mike Tyson, man, don't admire your work. Punches are going to land. When you lose respect for Mike and you get cocky, you're going to sleep. Now, Jake, I I've given you the keys to victory. It's up to you to be the hammer or the nail. And FYI, with everything being said and done, Tyson said it best. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. Hey, we're all going to find out July 20th, 2024. This is going to be at the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Shout out to Tejas. And for the millions around the world, you can watch the saga unfold on Netflix. Hey, Netflix, free promo, no charge.